What if the secret to profound peace and power wasn't about fixing the world, but about fixing your focus? We exhaust ourselves trying to manage the external, people, problems, circumstances, believing control over them will grant us calm. But here is the foundational truth. The world will never conform to your will. You cannot mandate the weather, dictate another's actions, or engineer perfect conditions. The only domain where your authority is absolute is your inner world, your mind, your choices, your responses. This isn't abstract theory. It is the core of Stoic practice, a philosophy that guided history's most resilient minds. Marcus Aurelius commanded an empire in turmoil, yet his peace was forged not by controlling wars, but by mastering his internal landscape. He understood the pivotal battle is never outside, it is within. And if you can conquer that internal terrain, no external event holds the power to truly upend you. If this truth resonates, you have already begun the journey back to your own center. If you're prepared to embrace this fundamental shift, to challenge your entire understanding of where power resides, subscribe to Stoic Mindset Mastery. This is a commitment to your own evolution. We live under a constant siege of distraction, notifications, social pressures, the endless to-do list. The external noise feels overwhelming. In response, we fight. We battle traffic, debate with colleagues, and lament situations we cannot change, hoping our struggle will somehow bend reality to our favor. It feels like a war, with peace as the prize for victory. But here is the liberating, difficult truth. Peace is not a trophy you win by conquering the outside world. It is a state you cultivate by governing the inner one. The external universe is indifferent to your plans. You command your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you discover strength. When you internalize this principle, it becomes a superpower, the ability to remain centered and composed regardless of life's turbulence. This isn't about denial or emotional suppression. It is about acknowledgement. Life is unpredictable, but your reaction is your sovereign choice. Instead of being lost in frustration, you can meet situations with clarity and intention. Your peace originates here, in the mastery of your response. This is authentic power, not changing the world, but transforming yourself. Every time you feel overwhelmed by circumstance, step back. Remind yourself, you govern your reactions. The events themselves are neutral. Your response is what shapes your reality. It's a seductive illusion to believe your environment must change for you to feel calm. The real transformation starts within. As you master your thoughts and reactions, you'll notice past triggers losing their potency. Challenges will still arrive. You cannot avoid them, but you can choose your engagement. Next time difficulty arises, pause, breathe. Remember your power of choice. You will still feel discomfort, disappointment, frustration, but those feelings no longer hold the reins. You are not your emotions. You are the conscious entity that decides how to act in their presence. This is your liberation. It's tempting to believe peace awaits perfect external alignment. That is a mirage. The world will never be perfect. Waiting for that guarantees you'll miss the chance to build peace now. Stoicism teaches that serenity is found not in perfect conditions, but in our posture towards any condition. By focusing on what you can control, your mind, your responses, your conduct, you forge an inner resilience that remains unshaken. This is the Stoic core. True power lies not in altering the external, but in mastering the internal. Achieve that, and the outer world's influence on your happiness diminishes. Your peace becomes a possession no event can confiscate. It is no longer dependent on happenings, but anchored in your chosen engagement. This is the first step toward freedom. Next time frustration pulls you, recall this: you control your reaction. The storm may rage, but you choose whether to be swept away. Make this shift, and while the world stays the same, your strength and serenity become unassailable. Now, reflect. How much energy have you spent trying to manage the unmanageable? Imagine the vitality you'd reclaim by simply focusing on your sphere of control, your thoughts, responses, and actions. Picture how different life would be if, when faced with the uncontrollable, you chose to invest in yourself rather than the circumstance. This is the essence of the Stoic way. It's not about rejecting the world, but revolutionizing your inner world. The power to transform your life resides within. You needn't stop the storm. You need to learn to stand steady within it. Adopt this perspective, and your reality transforms. The peace, power, and purpose you seek have been within your grasp all along. How often do we attempt to command everything around us? We wish people acted differently, hope situations unfold favorably, and struggle against inevitable currents. We know deep down we can't control these things, yet we persist, wasting precious energy in a futile battle. But what if the first step to freedom was releasing the need to control at all? Real liberty emerges when you stop clinging to what you can never influence. The tighter you grip the illusion of control, the more you trap yourself in anxiety and frustration. Instead of focusing on the uncontrollable, redirect your energy to what is yours, your thoughts, your actions, your mindset. Embrace this simple truth, and peace begins to settle. You cease squandering energy on the impossible and start channeling it into the profoundly possible, governing yourself. This concept is the Stoic heart. Epictetus taught that freedom is found in distinguishing what is within our power from what is not. He noted that we often suffer more from our imagined scenarios than from reality itself. Isn't that true? We craft stories of what could or should happen and suffer when reality diverges. Those mental struggles cause immense stress. But when we focus on what's actually within our control, our interpretations and responses, we are no longer slaves to life's unpredictability. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late, frustration building. You wish the cars would move, the light would change, the world would accommodate your schedule. The harsh reality? None of that is in your hands. So why wage war against it? In that moment, power lies in your response. You can choose calm. Take a deep breath, reframe the situation, decide the world doesn't need to change for you to find peace. The traffic will clear, the light will turn, but your peace, that is yours to command right now. This perspective shift is emancipation. It's a reminder we don't need to bend the world to find happiness. We need to accept what is and focus on how we respond. When we release the need to control everything, we free ourselves from perpetual struggle. We reclaim our peace, and with it, the freedom to live aligned with our values. We stop letting external circumstances dictate our inner climate and start choosing our reactions. This is easier said than done. We're conditioned to believe success and happiness stem from being in charge of our careers, relationships, lives. But this craving for control breeds anxiety, stress, and burnout. The more we try to manage the unmanageable, the more overwhelmed we become. So, how do we break the cycle? The first step, simple yet profound, is acceptance. Accept that certain things in life are beyond your control. Then consciously choose to stop resisting them. This isn't surrender or passivity. It's acknowledging reality and deciding to focus on what you can truly shape. Your responses, your attitude, your choices. It's about loosening your grip on the uncontrollable and turning inward, where your genuine power resides. When you let go of control, you create space for growth, clarity, and peace. You stop wasting vitality on the impossible and start investing it in the only thing that creates real change, yourself. You have the power to shape your mindset, choose your response to adversity, and act in alignment with your values. That is where true freedom lives. It lives in knowing you don't need to command everything around you. You only need to command your own mind and actions. Do that, and the world begins to shift, not because you changed it, but because your relationship to it transformed. This idea is both emancipating and empowering. It's a call to stop letting the world dictate your feelings, actions, or responses. It's realizing you are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the decider of how to engage. This is the gateway to real freedom, letting go. And when you do, you'll find peace isn't something you must fight for. It's something you already possess, waiting for your recognition. So next time the urge to control surges, ask, what is within my control here? The situation? Rarely. Your response? Always. In that moment, you free yourself from the burden of control. You stop battling the world and start embracing it as it is. In doing so, you unlock the power to craft the life you want, not by changing the world, but by changing yourself. Our world is saturated with noise. Everywhere, voices tell us what to do, how to act, who to be. We're bombarded by societal expectations about appearance, feeling, and success. This cacophony can drown out what truly matters, pulling us in countless directions, leaving us exhausted and disconnected. But here's the crucial point. This external noise should not hold the power to define you or your values. What shapes your life and happiness is not the outside world at all. It's your chosen perspective towards it. If you step back and examine your life, you'll see a pivotal truth. Your viewpoint is what makes all the difference. It's not the events themselves that determine your peace or success, but your interpretation and response. You may not control every situation, but you control how you perceive them. Imagine the peace possible if you shifted your focus from the uncontrollable to the controllable. What if you invested your energy in changing how you respond to the world, rather than trying to change the world itself? Carl Jung once observed that we encounter ourselves repeatedly in 1,000 disguises. This reminds us the external world isn't a reflection of who we are, but how we engage with it is. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, if only I had more money, approval, success, then I'd be happy. This is a false belief. The peace you seek isn't found in the world changing. It's found in your chosen way of seeing it. When you shift your perspective, when you start focusing on your thoughts, actions, and mindset, everything else begins to align. You no longer waste energy fighting the unchangeable. Instead, you learn to flow with life's current, responding to challenges with calm and purpose. Life becomes less a battle and more a dance you lead. Consider moments of overwhelm or frustration. Something didn't go as planned. Someone fell short of an expectation. The world is full of triggers for negative emotion. But what if you stopped viewing these moments as obstacles? What if you saw them as opportunities to learn, grow, practice patience, and build resilience? The key to overcoming adversity isn't changing the situation, but changing your approach. If you can shift your mindset, if you can view challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks, your entire experience of life changes. This is what Marcus Aurelius understood. He ruled an empire beset by war, plague, and political intrigue, yet found peace not by changing the world around him, but by changing his response to it. In his writings, he noted that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. It's a simple, profound truth. Your happiness isn't dictated by events, but by how you choose to interpret and respond to them. When you take command of your thoughts, you take command of your life. Imagine the freedom in this realization. What if you stopped waiting for a perfect world before allowing yourself peace? What if you accepted that the world will always be chaotic, unpredictable, and imperfect, and that your only true control is your response? That is where authentic peace resides, not in waiting for the world to change, but in changing how you engage with it. This is the secret the Stoics grasped. Peace comes not from the outside world aligning with our desires, but from aligning ourselves with the world as it is. Reflect on how much energy you spend trying to control the uncontrollable. A conversation that went poorly, a situation that didn't meet hopes. It's easy to get caught in this frustration, but what would happen if you stopped fighting? What if you accepted that your only power is your own response? This isn't resignation or inaction. It is accepting what you can't change and choosing to act with wisdom and calm in the face of it. Seneca noted, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How often have you imagined a terrible outcome, only to find reality far less catastrophic? We create mental stories and suffer when they don't materialize. The key to freeing yourself from this cycle of imagined suffering is perspective. When you change how you view a situation, you change how you feel about it. Instead of seeing every challenge as a threat, start seeing it as a lesson, an opportunity for growth. The situation may not change, but your experience of it will. The world will always present obstacles, people will disappoint, plans will fail, life will rarely match expectations. But if you master the art of perspective, if you learn to control your view of the world, you'll find you no longer need to fight against it. You can work with it, adapt, and find peace in its flow. So, how do you begin this shift? Start by attending to your thoughts. When something doesn't go your way, ask, what can I control here? How can I choose to respond? Shift focus from what's outside your hands to what's within your power. Is there a lesson? Can you practice patience, gratitude, or resilience? Every moment is an opportunity to reframe your perspective and choose a more empowering response. In doing so, you'll find the world, though imperfect, becomes more manageable. Life stops feeling like an endless struggle and becomes a journey you navigate with calm and purpose. This shift doesn't just change how you experience challenges, it changes how you experience life. Instead of seeing the world as something that happens to you, you begin to see it as something you can actively shape through your response. This is the real power we possess, the ability to choose our engagement. When you reclaim that power, life starts to align in ways you never imagined. Peace, fulfillment, and joy aren't dependent on the world around you. They're dependent on how you see and respond to it. When you take control of your perspective, you take control of your life. Genuine strength isn't bestowed. It isn't a product of easy days or calm seas. True strength is forged in adversity, in the fires of hardship. When life delivers difficulty, the natural impulse is to resist, to wish it away, to lament its unfairness. But here is the truth, that very hardship holds the potential to sculpt you into a stronger, more resilient person. It's easy to look at a tough situation and feel defeated. We've all been there, overwhelmed, thinking it's too much to bear. The Stoics, however, had a radically different lens. They didn't see hardship as something to fear or avoid. They saw it as an opportunity, a chance to build inner fortitude, to grow, to develop resilience. They called this process training. Just as a muscle must be stressed to grow stronger, adversity is the perfect training ground for the soul. The key is in your view of the struggle. When things get tough, it's easy to feel life is working against you. But what if we flipped that narrative? What if we embraced hard times as opportunities to rise, rather than obstacles to our peace? When you see adversity as a challenge to overcome, you begin to find growth in even the most difficult moments. Instead of fleeing discomfort, you face it, knowing each trial makes you stronger, wiser, and more capable. This perspective shift is potent. Marcus Aurelius wrote, The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the very obstacles that seem to block you can propel you forward if you let them. The storm doesn't determine your strength. Your response to the storm does. How you react, how you handle adversity, ultimately shapes who you are. In life, things won't always go to plan. People will let you down. Circumstances will derail you. But these things aren't meant to destroy you. They are meant to teach you endurance, fidelity to your values, and how to rise above. When you embrace hardship as a tool for growth, it transforms from something destructive into something empowering. Think of it this way. Every difficulty is a chance to practice patience, resilience, and discipline. Every setback becomes a stepping stone to greater strength. In a sense, life's challenges provide the very tools you need to build an unshakable core. You may not control the challenges that arrive, but you control how you respond. And that choice, to rise above, to face adversity with grace and strength, is what makes you unbreakable. This doesn't mean you won't feel the weight of hardship, pain, frustration, or disappointment. It means you will face those feelings with a different mindset. Instead of allowing hardships to define or break you, you use them to refine your character. Instead of being overwhelmed, you become focused. Instead of shrinking in fear, you rise with courage. This mindset changes everything. When you stop seeing difficulty as an enemy and start seeing it as a teacher, you empower yourself in profound ways. Every hardship becomes an opportunity to grow stronger, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Consider this. If life were always easy, you'd never build the strength that truly defines you. It's in the tough moments that your authentic character emerges. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." He was right. Just as a gem is polished by roughness, you are shaped and refined by difficulties. It's through these trials you learn who you truly are and, more importantly, who you're capable of becoming. Without adversity, we remain stagnant, comfortable, but never truly strong. So when life gets tough, when the storm rages, remember, your strength doesn't come from avoiding the storm, but from how you face it. Will you let the winds knock you down, or will you stand tall, grounded in the knowledge that every gust is an opportunity to grow stronger? The choice is yours. This doesn't mean you must welcome hardship with open arms. No one likes pain. But it does mean that when it comes, you don't have to shrink. You can choose to embrace it, learn from it, and emerge stronger on the other side. The storm may rage, but your response will define you. Remember, strength isn't built overnight. It's a process. Just as a muscle grows with each workout, your inner strength develops with every challenge you face. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel together. But with each step, each difficult moment, you are building something unshakable. Eventually, you'll realize the very thing you once feared, the difficulty itself, has become the source of your greatest power. So next time life presents a challenge, instead of focusing on its unfairness or wishing it away, try this. Shift your perspective. See it as an opportunity to build strength. Ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? When you do, you stop seeing life as something to fight against and start seeing it as something you can work with. In doing so, you cultivate a strength that will carry you through anything. True strength isn't about everything going right. It's about how you respond when things go wrong. It's about standing firm when life gets tough, knowing each challenge is a chance to grow. So embrace adversity, not as something to avoid, but as the very thing that makes you stronger. When you do, you'll realize you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. Life is unpredictable. Unexpected challenges, disappointments, betrayals, they test our patience often when we least expect them. Yet amidst this chaos, the one element we can always command is our reaction. That is where true power dwells. The secret to inner peace doesn't come from controlling the outside world, but from mastering our responses to it. Think of the last time anger rose within you. A harsh comment, a mistake, a perceived injustice. You felt that heat, that urge to lash out. But did it help? Did your anger change the situation or improve it? Likely not. Instead, it stole your peace, clouded your judgment, and amplified the difficulty. This is the power, for better or worse, of our reactions. They shape our experience of the world. The Stoics knew this well. They taught that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. Marcus Aurelius regularly reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood it's not external events that disturb us, but our chosen reactions to them. This simple, profound idea is the cornerstone of inner peace. The ability to respond with calm, clarity, and control, no matter the provocation, is the true source of strength. In every situation, you have a choice. You can react impulsively, letting emotions drive, or you can pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom. That moment of choice is your power center. It's not about suppressing emotion, but about learning to respond in a way that doesn't sacrifice your peace. Master this, and you unlock the ability to stay calm amidst chaos. This is inner mastery. The more you practice controlling your reactions, the more natural it becomes. You start to notice your triggers, the moments that used to set you off, and you learn to pause before reacting. In that pause, you regain control. You no longer let external events dictate your emotional state. You choose how to feel, act, and engage. This mastery doesn't just protect your peace, it creates it. It turns every challenge into an opportunity to practice self-discipline and resilience. Often we imagine worst-case outcomes. We catastrophize, letting our minds run wild with fear. In doing so, we rob ourselves of peace before anything even happens. By mastering our reactions, we stop letting our minds control us. We take charge of our responses and thoughts. We stop reacting impulsively and start responding with intention. Imagine how different your life would be if you mastered your reactions. Next time anger or frustration builds, you could pause and choose a response aligned with your values. Instead of losing your temper, you could respond with patience. Instead of yielding to fear, you could choose courage. This is the essence of inner strength. Not being unaffected, but choosing your response. This mindset shift doesn't happen overnight. It's a process requiring constant practice and awareness. But every time you choose calm over impulsive reaction, you grow stronger. You begin to notice patterns in your behavior and emotions. You start to see that many frustrations originate within, not from external events. This awareness is the first step in mastering your reactions. The more you practice, the more you'll see the impact on your life. Improved relationships, decreased stress, a greater sense of emotional control. You'll realize you are not a victim of circumstance, but the creator of your experience. In that realization lies true freedom. Carl Jung said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." This encapsulates the power of mastering our reactions. We cannot change the past or control the future, but we can choose how we respond to each moment. We can let the past define us, or we can rise above it. The power to shape our lives lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering ourselves. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking the world is against us. That mindset keeps us stuck in frustration and anger. When we realize our reactions are the key to our peace, we stop blaming the world and start taking responsibility for our own state of mind. We stop being at the mercy of external events and begin reclaiming our power. Of course, we won't always get it right. There will be slip-ups, impulsive reactions, moments where emotions win. That's okay. What matters is that we keep practicing. With each effort, we move closer to the person we want to be, someone who faces life's challenges with grace, calm, and strength. Real freedom comes from within. It's the freedom to choose your response, regardless of external events. When you master your reactions, you don't just protect your peace, you generate it. You no longer depend on the world to provide what you need. You find it within yourself. This is the key to a fulfilling, peaceful life. It's not about changing the world or achieving perfection. It's about changing how you engage with the world, how you respond to chaos, and how you find peace within it. When you start mastering your reactions, everything else begins to align, not because the world changed, but because you did. Your reaction is the one thing no storm can take. Self-awareness is the bedrock of personal growth. How can you change or improve something you aren't fully conscious of? Your thoughts, emotions, automatic reactions, they compose the story you tell yourself and the life you create. The more aware you become of these inner workings, the more power you gain over your life. When we lack self-awareness, life feels like it's happening to us. We move through motions, reacting without thought, letting emotions steer. But when you become aware of your thoughts, emotions, and triggers, you cease being a passive participant. You begin to notice behavioral patterns. What sets you off? Which reactions aren't helpful? And you realize you have the power to choose differently. The more aware you are, the less you are a victim of circumstance. You take the driver's seat. Carl Jung noted, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. This isn't just about understanding your shadow. It's about being conscious of how you operate, how you respond to others, and how you shape your world through your inner landscape. By understanding the parts we often ignore, we gain the power to make conscious choices. We stop letting unconscious habits and thoughts control us. Self-awareness opens a new way of being where we aren't merely reacting to life, we are actively shaping it. Think of your last unconscious reaction, maybe in traffic or to a friend's comment. The automatic response is often frustration or defensiveness. But in that moment, there's another choice. The choice to pause. That space between stimulus and reaction is where power resides. It's in that pause you decide how to respond. This doesn't mean you'll never feel frustration. Emotions are natural. It means you stop letting them control you. Instead of reacting automatically, you pause, breathe, and then respond in a way aligned with your values and goals. You stop being a victim of impulse and start taking control of your actions. Self-awareness is a practice, a muscle strengthened over time. Every time you catch yourself in an automatic reaction, you take a step toward mastery. You begin to notice thought and emotion patterns, the ways you've been reacting without thinking. With that awareness comes the power to change. Imagine being able to catch frustration and pause before reacting. Imagine responding with patience, understanding and calm instead of letting the situation dictate your state. This is where self-mastery begins. In those small moments where you usually let emotions run wild, you make a conscious choice to respond differently. The more you practice self-awareness, the easier it gets. You start to notice triggers before they happen. You realize when you're about to react and can step back to make a different choice. You stop being controlled by unconscious patterns and start consciously shaping your thoughts, emotions, and actions. When you become aware of your thoughts, you see how much control you have over your experience. You realize that while you can't control everything that happens, you can control how you interpret and react to it. This is the key to finding peace and clarity amidst chaos. It's not about controlling the world around you. It's about mastering your inner world, your reactions and mindset. Self-awareness also fosters deeper self-understanding. You notice why you feel certain ways, what triggers you, what you truly want from life. This understanding helps you make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and pursue goals aligned with your authentic values, not societal expectations. When you know yourself, you become more authentic, confident, and capable of living a meaningful life. The more you practice, the more you'll notice how much of your experience is shaped by your thoughts and beliefs. You'll see that many struggles aren't due to external events, but to how you perceive and react to them. Once you realize that, you see the power you have to change your life simply by changing how you think and respond. This is where true freedom lives, not in controlling everything around you, but in controlling your response to it. When you master your reactions, you stop being at the mercy of external circumstances. You create your own peace. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with intention. You choose how to show up in the world, no matter what life delivers. That is the power of self-awareness. This is a lifelong process. There will be moments of falling back into old patterns, reacting before thinking. That's okay. The key is to keep practicing. Each time you catch yourself, you strengthen your self-awareness muscle. Each time you pause and choose a thoughtful response, you move closer to mastering yourself. Imagine how your life could change if you lived more consciously, if you responded to every challenge with clarity, patience, and purpose, if you stopped being swept away by emotions and chose how to engage with the world. That is the power of self-awareness. It's not about perfection. It's about the ability to pause, reflect, and respond with intention. It's about creating the life you want, one conscious choice at a time. Self-awareness is the key to unlocking your true potential. It's the foundation of self-mastery. And when you have that, everything else aligns. You stop being a passive participant in your own life and start taking control. You stop letting circumstances dictate your emotions and start creating your own reality. When you master yourself, you become unstoppable. Expectations are a double-edged sword. They give us direction, something to strive for, but they also set us up for disappointment. How often have you felt heartbroken or frustrated because reality didn't match your expectations? We expect people to behave certain ways, outcomes to unfold just so, life to be fair. But reality is indifferent. Life is unpredictable, chaotic, uncontrollable. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you stop suffering from the disappointment of unmet expectations. Consider how much stress stems from expectations others don't meet or situations that don't align with hopes. We build mental models of how things should be and suffer when reality diverges. We think, this isn't fair, this isn't right. But the problem isn't the unmet expectation, it's our attachment to it. When we tether our happiness to how things should be, we open ourselves to constant disappointment. The key to freedom is learning to let go of these expectations. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." In other words, the more we resist life's flow, trying to force it into our limited expectations, the more we disconnect from our true selves. We cannot force life to conform to our will. The world is too complex. When we cling to expectations, we fight against nature's course, losing peace and touch with reality. Expectations create a gap between the life we want and the life we have. In that gap dwell frustration, bitterness, dissatisfaction. The beauty of releasing expectations is freedom from this struggle. You might think expectations give a sense of control, but in truth, they make you vulnerable to disappointment. By releasing them, you reclaim power. You stop trying to control outcomes and start accepting things as they are with grace. This doesn't mean abandoning goals or desires. It means you no longer demand life unfold exactly as imagined. When you let go of expectations, you make space for things to unfold as they should, often far better than you planned. This mindset isn't passivity or complacency. It's about engaging from a place of acceptance, not resistance. The difference is subtle but powerful. Acceptance doesn't mean you don't work hard or strive to improve. It means you stop fighting life when it doesn't go your way. Instead of fighting the flow, you learn to navigate it. You understand that everything, good and bad, is part of a larger picture you may not yet see. This shift can be transformative. When you stop expecting specific outcomes, you open yourself to unexpected possibilities. Life often offers something better than we envisioned, but we miss it because we're fixated on the outcome we thought we wanted. Think of times things didn't go to plan, yet in hindsight, everything worked out perfectly. Life forces us to release our narrow vision and embrace something more expansive and fulfilling. The sooner we stop forcing life into our expectations, the sooner we see beauty in unpredictability. Imagine the peace of accepting each moment, not as something to control or perfect, but as it is. Imagine the freedom of flowing with reality rather than clinging to how things should be. It's a powerful shift leading to peace, clarity, and fulfillment. Letting go of expectations doesn't mean abandoning hope or desire. It means not tying your happiness to specific outcomes. You realize the present moment is all you truly have. You can make plans, set goals, take action, but the rest is beyond your control. Life is inherently unpredictable. Embrace this, and you stop fighting and start flowing. You learn to accept the current, trusting that whatever comes is what you need, even if it's unexpected. We often imagine how things could go wrong, building expectations based on fear and desire. When reality doesn't match, we suffer. But in truth, much of what we fear never happens. And even when plans fail, things often unfold in more enriching ways than anticipated. The process of letting go isn't easy. It requires deep self-awareness and courage to face life as it is without trying to mold it. It means accepting life's messiness, uncertainty, and occasional unfairness. But when we stop fighting, when we stop demanding life fit our narrow mold, we open ourselves to something greater: peace. By releasing the need for things to go exactly as we want, we invite freedom and contentment. This freedom allows us to truly experience the present, appreciate what we have, and find joy in the journey, regardless of destination. When you stop expecting life to be perfect, you begin to see it for what it is: a series of beautiful, messy moments offering opportunities for growth, learning, and connection. The more you embrace this, the more peace you'll find. The key to happiness isn't controlling every aspect of life. It's letting go of that need and learning to flow with change. When you do, everything else starts to fall into place. We all know the feeling, the constant chase. We chase success, approval, happiness, believing that once we get there, everything will align. It's like running after something, desperate to catch it, only to find it perpetually out of reach. Our world pushes us to strive, hustle, chase the next big thing. But here's the truth: fulfillment doesn't lie in endless pursuit. It lies in living fully in the present with what you already have. Think of times you were caught in the chase for a promotion, a lifestyle, approval. It's easy to believe reaching that goal will bring perfection. But every time you get close, the finish line moves. That elusive something always seems just beyond grasp. This constant chasing leaves you exhausted, anxious, unfulfilled. The more you focus on what's ahead, the more you miss what's right in front of you: your character, your presence, your ability to act. These are sources of true power. When you shift focus from chasing external goals to embracing inner strengths, you stop running. You stop feeling like you're missing something. You realize the life you seek isn't in the future, it's here, now. The chase feeds a scarcity mindset. We think we need more money, success, recognition to be happy. But what if the opposite is true? What if we stopped focusing on lack and started appreciating abundance? What if we stopped seeking fulfillment outside and started living fully with what's within reach? This doesn't mean abandoning goals or growth. It means you stop relying on them for happiness and peace. You realize you are already enough right now. Much dissatisfaction stems from believing we need to acquire something, status, possessions, approval, to feel complete. But nothing external can fill an internal void. When you rely on external validation for worth, you set yourself up for disappointment. People come and go, opportunities appear and fade. Your inner world is the only constant. The more you look outside for validation, the more you'll feel something is missing. But when you stop chasing, when you embrace what you already have within, you realize everything you need is already there. Imagine the peace of ending the endless chase. What if you stopped worrying about others' opinions or whether you've achieved enough? What if you focused on living fully in the present, experiencing life as it is, without measuring against distant standards? When you shift from scarcity to abundance, you feel deep peace. You realize the present moment, with all its imperfections, is enough. You stop seeking outside yourself and start embracing who you are and what you have now. This doesn't mean abandoning passions or dreams. It means not tying your happiness and fulfillment to them. It's realizing the journey itself is where life happens. When you're fixated on the destination, you miss the journey's beauty, the lessons, growth, connections, moments that make life meaningful. The chase robs you of enjoying the present. But when you stop chasing, you see life through a new lens. You live with intention and mindfulness. That's where true fulfillment lies. Living fully in the moment isn't rejecting ambition or ignoring the future. It's shifting focus from obsessive pursuit of external goals to appreciation for the present. It's engaging with life as it is, not constantly striving for something else. The more you live in the present, the more you realize everything you need, strength, joy, peace, is already here. It's not in a distant goal, it's in how you show up daily, how you respond to challenges, how you embrace who you are now. We spend so much time chasing more success, wealth, recognition, that we forget to live. We waste precious time focusing on the future rather than appreciating the now. True fulfillment doesn't come from chasing external things. It comes from being fully present, experiencing life as it is, without constant measurement against future ideals. The power of living fully in the moment lies in embracing what you have, not what you lack. The more you appreciate your own presence, character, and ability to act now, the more you'll realize the chase was never the key. You've been running after something that was always within you. The moment you stop chasing is the moment you start truly living. You stop waiting for life to be perfect and embrace it as it is. When you stop chasing, you stop letting the external world dictate your worth. You stop measuring value by achievements or opinions and start realizing your value is inherent, not dependent on anything outside. You start living with purpose, not to prove something, but because you know you're already enough. You don't need to chase anything. All you need is to embrace what you already have, your character, your presence, your ability to act. When you do, you stop running and start living fully. That's where true fulfillment lies. The treasure you seek is in the chase you abandon. Gratitude is among our most powerful, transformative tools. In a world telling us we need more success, possessions, validation, it's easy to believe happiness lies in acquisition. But here's the truth. Gratitude is the key to finding peace and contentment right where you are. It turns what you have into enough. It shifts focus from scarcity to abundance. When you see the world through this lens, everything changes. Imagine waking today and deciding everything you have, your health, relationships, circumstances, is a gift. Imagine appreciating the small things, a warm bed, a hot meal, a friend's laughter. Suddenly, life feels different. Instead of focusing on lack or imperfection, you're overwhelmed with gratitude for what you already possess. This perspective shift changes everything. When you practice gratitude, you start seeing abundance rather than scarcity. Carl Jung observed, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others." This is profound. Gratitude is the foundation for all positive emotions and virtues. When cultivated, it opens doors to compassion, kindness, and love. It's the antidote to longing, the cure for the "I need more" mindset that holds us back. When you stop yearning for what you don't have and start appreciating what you do, you shift your life in profound, fulfilling ways. This shift is powerful because it lets you focus on what's within your control, your mindset, attitude, perspective. So often we chase things, success, approval, material possessions, as if they'll bring happiness. In doing so, we neglect what's right in front of us, our health, relationships, time. By failing to appreciate these, we miss the abundance already in our lives. Gratitude changes that. It pulls attention from the future into the present. It reminds us everything we need for contentment is already here. When you take a moment daily to reflect on gratitude, you start noticing how rich your life truly is. It's not about waiting for big achievements or specific goals. It's about recognizing that small, everyday moments hold incredible value. Life isn't always perfect. We all face challenges, setbacks, disappointments. But when we approach challenges with gratitude, we see them differently. Instead of burdens, they become opportunities for growth. Gratitude helps find meaning even in difficulty, reminding us every experience, good or bad, is part of the human journey. Every challenge is a chance to learn, grow, become stronger. Gratitude also shifts focus from what we lack to what we possess. How often do we get caught believing happiness is just beyond reach? But happiness isn't a destination, it's a state of mind. When we focus on gratitude, we cultivate contentment and peace right where we are. We stop waiting for something to change or for external validation before feeling fulfilled. We realize the life we're living now, with all its imperfections, is enough. This subtle shift is incredibly powerful. The more you practice gratitude, the more you notice what you have to be thankful for. As you notice, you feel abundance rather than scarcity. You stop focusing on lack and start appreciating what's already here. In this shift lies true fulfillment. When you see the richness of your life in every moment, you stop yearning for the out of reach and find peace in the present. The practice of gratitude isn't just saying thanks for big things. It's noticing small, everyday gifts we often overlook. It's appreciating beauty in the mundane, sun through a window, morning coffee warmth, birds chirping. These simple moments, when recognized and appreciated, bring deep fulfillment. When we make gratitude a daily practice, we train our minds to notice good in every situation, no matter how small. Gratitude profoundly impacts relationships. When we focus on what we're grateful for in others, we cultivate deeper connections. We stop taking people for granted and start seeing them as gifts. We appreciate their presence, love, support. This shift not only strengthens relationships, but brings greater peace and contentment to our lives. Practicing gratitude opens our hearts to others, creating abundance in our connections. Perhaps gratitude's most powerful impact is how it transforms our inner world. When we shift from focusing on lack to focusing on possession, we change how we see ourselves. We stop measuring worth by external achievements and start recognizing intrinsic value. We appreciate who we are, where we are, what we've accomplished. This self-appreciation breeds confidence, self-love, deeper peace. We stop waiting for external validation and validate ourselves through gratitude. Gratitude is a practice that transforms every life area. It changes how you experience the world, interact with others, see yourself. It turns what you have into enough, unlocking true fulfillment. The more you practice, the more you'll realize everything you need for a meaningful life is already within you. When you recognize this, life feels different. Discipline often gets a bad reputation. We think of it as restrictive, punitive, something that limits freedom. But the truth is, discipline is freedom, real freedom. It's the freedom to create the life you truly want by mastering yourself. It's freedom to live on your own terms, make choices aligned with your values and goals, instead of being ruled by fleeting desires and emotions. At its core, discipline is the ability to control impulses. Think how often you've acted impulsively and later regretted it. Eating something you didn't want, spending time on something not aligned with goals. We've all been there. It's easy to yield to desires in the moment, but each time we do, we surrender a piece of our freedom. We trade short-term satisfaction for long-term fulfillment, losing control over our lives. Discipline is the key to reclaiming that control. When you master desires and impulses, you unlock potential to become your truest self. Without discipline, we're pulled in different directions, reacting to circumstances and immediate cravings. With discipline, we stop being slaves to impulse. We act with intention, not reaction. We live with purpose, not mere existence. Discipline isn't about following someone else's rules or living in strict conformity. It's not about deprivation or punishment. It's about creating space to make choices leading to your greater good. It's about making decisions aligned with who you want to be, not who you've been conditioned to be. Once you practice this discipline, it brings profound freedom. You're no longer controlled by immediate desires. You're guided by deeper values and long-term vision. This is true freedom's source, self-mastery. When you master discipline, you master yourself. You stop reacting to life and start shaping it. The ability to say no to short-term gratification and yes to long-term goals is among the most powerful skills you can develop. Once you have it, nothing can stop you. The world may try to pull you, but you remain grounded. Your goals stay clear, your actions intentional. Consider people you admire, those who seem to have their lives together, calm under pressure, always in control. What do they share? Likely they've mastered discipline. They've learned to control impulses, say no when necessary, stay focused on what truly matters. Because of that, they've built lives of freedom. Freedom to pursue passions, make value-aligned decisions, live without being ruled by emotions or desires. The irony: discipline gives more freedom than we imagine. It may seem restrictive at first, but once you experience the freedom from self-mastery, you realize it's the most liberating act. Discipline gives you power to choose your path. It allows breaking free from impulsive decision chains and opens a world of possibilities. Instead of being pulled in countless directions, you walk confidently in your chosen direction. That's the freedom discipline brings. This discipline doesn't appear overnight. It's a practice, a habit cultivated over time. It starts small, waking 30 minutes earlier, sticking to a workout, saying no to something you don't truly want. These small acts build momentum, leading to bigger wins. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. You start seeing discipline's benefits in every life area: health, relationships, career. The sense of freedom grows more apparent. The key to discipline is consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up day after day, especially when you don't feel like it. The more consistent you are, the more control you gain over your life. With that control comes freedom to shape your future, rather than being shaped by circumstances. Truth is, you can't control everything that happens. Life is unpredictable. Things won't always go to plan. But the one thing you can control is your response. That response, guided by discipline, determines your life's outcome. This is discipline's real power. It's not about restricting yourself. It's about giving yourself freedom to become who you're meant to be. It's about choosing your actions, reactions, mindset, not letting them choose you. Discipline is the key to creating the life you want. That's where true freedom lies. As you embrace discipline, you'll notice life becomes less about striving and more about flowing. You'll stop fighting against yourself, your impulses, the world. You'll learn to work with it, make choices aligned with deeper values. In doing so, you'll experience a freedom you've never known. Freedom to create, act, live, be the person you've always wanted to be. In today's world, we constantly seek others' approval through likes, followers, validation from those around us. It's easy to lose sight of who we truly are. We're conditioned to think our worth is tied to others' perceptions. But here's the truth. The only approval that truly matters is your own. When you stop seeking external validation and start validating yourself, everything shifts. For many, validation feels like reassurance, a safety net saying you're okay, worthy, enough. But here's the catch. No amount of external validation will make you feel truly secure in who you are. If you place self-worth in others' hands, you give them power over your peace. Every time someone doesn't like your post or give expected recognition, you feel that sting. But if you learn to validate yourself, to recognize your own worth without needing others' approval, you take back your power. When we seek others' approval, we often try to fit a mold that isn't us. We mold ourselves to meet expectations, fit in, gain favor. But when we stop seeking approval and start self-validating, we break free from that mold. We give ourselves permission to be exactly who we are. No more, no less. In that permission lies true freedom. The need for external validation stems from deep-seated fear of not being enough, not measuring up, being judged. This fear is human. We want to be liked, belong, feel valued. But when we constantly seek others' approval, we surrender our own sense of self-worth. We begin depending on their perceptions to define us. This makes us vulnerable because we cannot control how others see us. Someone might praise us today and criticize tomorrow. If our worth is tied to their opinions, we feel unstable, uncertain. The key to breaking this cycle is looking inward. It's learning to validate yourself based on your intrinsic value, not others' opinions. It's recognizing you are enough as you are without changing to meet others' expectations. The moment you stop seeking external validation and start self-validating, your self-worth becomes unshakable. You stop letting others' opinions dictate how you feel about yourself. Shifting from seeking approval to self-validation isn't easy. We've been conditioned so long to look outside for reassurance that it feels unnatural at first. But when you begin truly accepting yourself, seeing your value from within, everything changes. The need for external validation fades. In its place, you discover deeper peace. You stop measuring worth by how others see you and start measuring by how you see yourself. Think of the last time you felt truly good about yourself, not because of someone else's words, but because you accepted who you are. Maybe you felt proud of an accomplishment or content with where you were. That moment wasn't defined by external approval. It came from within. It was recognition of your own worth, independent of outside opinions. That's the validation that lasts. The more you practice self-validation, the easier it becomes. It's not about perfection or never feeling doubt. It's about recognizing those feelings don't define you. You are more than your doubts, more than others' opinions. The more you remind yourself of this, the more confident and grounded you become. The moment you stop chasing others' approval, you open the door to authenticity. You stop pretending to be someone you're not to meet external expectations. Instead, you embrace who you are, flaws and all, and begin living a life true to you. This is true freedom's foundation. You no longer wear a mask to conform or constantly seek others' approval. You simply are. Self-validation is also about recognizing your own achievements, no matter how small. It's celebrating your efforts and growth. Too often we focus on what we haven't done or where we need to improve. But every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Those victories matter. When you start validating your progress, you build confidence. You see you're capable, growing, enough as you are. True fulfillment comes when you stop looking to others to tell you you're worthy. It comes when you realize your worth is inherent, not dependent on anyone's opinion but your own. When you give yourself permission to be who you are, you unlock freedom to live authentically. You stop living for others' approval and start living for yourself. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others or become selfish. It means your self-worth is no longer dictated by their opinions. You become your own source of approval. You are enough as you are. You always have been. The journey of self-validation isn't about seeking perfection. It's about accepting yourself as you are and recognizing your inherent worth. When you validate yourself, you stop looking for external approval. You stop measuring value by fleeting opinions. You start living authentically. In that authenticity, you find true freedom. You might have been told success is about what you own or how the world sees you. Society says our possessions, social media profiles, external achievements define us. But the truth is, the one thing you will always have, no matter what, is yourself. Your mind, thoughts, actions. These are your only true assets. Everything else can be taken, possessions can be lost, reputation can be damaged, health can be challenged. But your character, inner strength, ability to shape your thoughts and actions, that's yours to build, protect, grow. It is your most valuable asset. For too long, we've been conditioned to think wealth, status, material success measure a fulfilling life. We chase promotions, buy bigger houses, collect accolades, hoping one day we'll reach happiness. But in doing so, we forget the most important thing, the asset that can never be taken, our mind. How we think, view the world, handle adversity. These internal qualities are our strength's foundation. No matter where life leads, no one can take these away. You decide who you are and want to become. We often get caught in external pursuits, trying to shape our outer world to fit a success vision. But real power lies in shaping the inner world. When you cultivate self-awareness, develop emotional intelligence, invest in personal growth, you become unstoppable. This inner work is where true value resides. Think about it. When you've reached your lowest point or faced biggest challenges, what gets you through? Not accumulated things or others' approval. It's your resilience, ability to adapt, internal strength. These qualities, built over time, truly define your life. Everything else is fleeting, but your character, that's built to last. So when we talk about investing in yourself, we're talking about investing in your inner world. Cultivate the habits, mindset, emotional tools that let you navigate life with grace and strength. That's the foundation for everything else. How do you begin? The first step is realizing you are the most important project you'll ever work on. The more time you invest in personal development, mental health, emotional well-being, critical thinking, the stronger and more resilient you become. This isn't about striving for perfection, it's about progress. It's being willing to put in work daily to develop inner strength that sees you through tough times. It starts with small steps, building discipline, practicing self-reflection, fostering gratitude, embracing challenges as growth opportunities. These are investments paying off not short-term, but over a lifetime. Imagine truly trusting yourself, knowing no matter what happens, you have inner tools to handle it. The external world might change instantly, but your ability to stay grounded and focused would remain unshaken. That's the power of investing in yourself. You can't control life's storms, but you can control how you prepare, respond, and grow from them. Seneca understood this deeply. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This flips our usual thinking about value. We're taught to chase more wealth, possessions, recognition. But true wealth lies in mastering ourselves, reducing dependency on external validation, realizing what we have within is enough. The more we focus on the inner world, the less we need from the outer to feel complete. By shifting focus from acquiring external things to strengthening your internal self, you begin experiencing a freedom that cannot be taken. This is where real value lies, within you. One of investing in yourself's most powerful aspects is that it builds not only resilience, but also your capacity to help others. When you strengthen your character, you become a better partner, friend, colleague, leader. Your personal growth doesn't just serve you, it ripples into every life area, touching those around you. When you focus on becoming your best self, you naturally raise the energy of those around you. But here's the catch. This investment isn't instant. It takes time, patience, consistent effort. There are no shortcuts. To building inner strength, it's easy to focus on quick fixes, buying something new, seeking validation, chasing next success. But these are temporary. True strength, the kind that doesn't falter when life gets tough, comes from within. It's the result of daily habits, mindset shifts, willingness to face challenges head on. So what can you do today to start investing in yourself? It starts with commitment. Commit to showing up for yourself daily, even when it's hard. Commit to inner work that makes you stronger, even when uncomfortable. Commit to building character, knowing it's the most valuable asset you'll ever possess. As you continue investing in yourself, you'll notice differences in how you navigate the world. You'll find yourself less affected by external opinions, less reliant on material success, more rooted in your own sense of purpose and peace. The more you grow internally, the more the external world aligns with that growth. Opportunities, relationships, circumstances begin reflecting the strength you've cultivated within. True success's measure isn't what you own or others think. It's your character's strength, integrity's depth, ability to live true to yourself. The best part, these are assets no one can take. They're yours to build, protect, grow for the rest of your life. We've all been there, obsessed with the outcome, fixated on the result. We chase goals, achievements, success, as if the destination is all that matters. Whether landing a dream job, reaching a financial milestone, or losing weight, we're conditioned to think once we achieve the goal, life will finally fall into place. But here's the thing. True fulfillment doesn't come from the destination. It comes from the journey, the process, the steps taken each day. That's where real magic happens. Think for a moment. How often do we get so focused on the end goal that we forget to enjoy the steps to get there? We become fixated on the finish line, constantly measuring worth and progress by what we've yet to achieve. This focus on results can leave us drained, overwhelmed, unsatisfied. It's easy to get lost in the idea that once we achieve the goal, everything will be perfect. But perfection doesn't come from reaching a point in time. It comes from how we show up every single day. It's in the process of becoming, growing, evolving that we discover who we truly are. It's not about rushing to the finish or pushing to meet an expectation. It's about showing up each day, doing the work, embracing the journey no matter how long it takes. Because in the end, The person you become along the way is the real reward. When we shift focus from outcome to process, we start experiencing life in a whole new way. We find meaning in small, everyday actions, those little steps often unnoticed in pursuit of something bigger. The more we focus on process, the more we realize it's not the end goal that brings fulfillment, but how we approach the journey. Each moment becomes an opportunity to learn, grow, enjoy life as it unfolds. Instead of waiting for the next milestone to feel content, we find contentment in the now. It's easy to fall into the trap of measuring success externally by things we can see and touch. But truth is, success isn't defined by a single achievement. It's a way of being, a mindset, a constant process of growth and improvement. When you focus on process, you stop waiting for success to come to you and start creating it daily through actions, mindset, perseverance. You stop chasing something outside your control and start cultivating something within far more powerful, a growth and self-mastery mindset. Imagine, instead of being fixated on what you want to achieve, you focus on how you can show up in each moment, at work, in personal life, with health. Focus on the process of becoming better, not the destination. This shift is liberating. It removes pressure of getting there and places emphasis on the present. You're no longer waiting for future fulfillment. You're finding fulfillment in every step. And when you do this, results come naturally, often without you realizing. This doesn't mean goals aren't important or you should stop working towards something you care about. Goals give direction and purpose. But when you shift focus to process, you stop making happiness contingent on reaching one destination. You begin enjoying the work itself, the daily practice, small victories, lessons learned along the way. And when you reach the goal, it's not a moment of relief or completion. It's a celebration of everything learned and the person you became in the process. Life is a series of processes. Every goal achieved, every challenge faced, is a chapter in an ongoing journey. When you focus on process, you start seeing life as a series of opportunities to evolve. Refine skills, improve mindset, become more of who you're meant to be. In doing so, the outcome becomes a natural byproduct of your commitment to the journey. We've been taught the goal is the prize, the thing giving us value. But in truth, the journey is where the real prize lies. It's in daily effort, resilience, consistency that we find strength and growth. Success isn't a destination, it's a process. When we embrace that process, we find results often come faster and more effortlessly than imagined. There's incredible freedom in letting go of outcome obsession. When we stop measuring worth by external achievements, we start enjoying the ride. We stop rushing through life, waiting for the next thing, and start living in the present. This doesn't mean giving up goals. It means you stop letting them define you. You begin defining yourself by how you show up each day, how you approach life, how you face challenges. That's where true fulfillment lies. By focusing on process, you also build resilience. Life is full of unexpected twists. If you only focus on end result, you may miss opportunities to grow through challenges. But when you focus on journey, you learn to appreciate highs and lows. Knowing every experience contributes to growth. You become more adaptable, open to change, capable of handling whatever comes. This mindset leads to lasting success, the kind that doesn't crumble when plans fail. Too often we waste time obsessing over end goals, waiting for the future to bring what we think we need. But life is happening now. The present moment is the only time we truly have. When we focus on process, we make the most of every moment, investing in our growth and journey. The future will take care of itself when we focus on the present. So start today. Focus on process, not outcome. Shift attention to how you show up, how you carry yourself daily, how you approach the journey ahead. Results will follow naturally. But even if they don't, you'll find deeper fulfillment, because the true reward was in the process all along. The world is chaotic. Every day brings new worries, politics, social media, global crises, personal struggles. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by everything out of your control, and yet we often try to change it. We fight against the uncontrollable, hoping to make the world behave as we want. But here's the truth: no matter how hard we try, we can't change the world. We can't stop storms from coming, prevent challenges, control others' actions. But there's good news. While we may not have power to change the world, we have power to change ourselves. The world will throw challenges, life will be unpredictable. But how we react to those challenges, that's where our true power lies. We can choose to be victims of circumstance or masters of ourselves. It's not about controlling world chaos, it's about controlling how we move through it. We all know frustration when things don't go our way. We get upset when plans fall apart, people don't behave as expected, the world seems against us. It's natural to want to change things, fix what's wrong, fight the current. But this constant struggle only drains energy and leaves us defeated. Truth is, we can't change the world's course, but we can choose how we respond. In that choice lies our strength. When you start focusing on mastering yourself, everything else starts falling into place. Instead of pouring energy into trying to fix the world or others, you direct that energy inward. You begin controlling your thoughts, emotions, actions. You realize your happiness and peace don't depend on the external world, but on how you navigate through it. This is where true strength lies, not in changing the world, but in changing how you interact with it. Take a moment. Think of times you felt out of control, maybe from a hurtful comment or derailed plans. It's easy to let those moments consume us, let frustration or anger dictate actions. But what if in those moments you chose to respond differently? What if you didn't let the world control your emotions, but chose to control your reaction? This is self-mastery's essence. It's not about being perfect or never upset. It's about learning to respond with grace, patience, wisdom, no matter what the world throws. It's easy to get caught in the idea that we need to change the world to find peace or happiness. We think if we could change others' behavior or fix problems, everything would be better. But truth is, the world will always be unpredictable. People will always frustrate us. Circumstances will always change. What we control is how we respond. The more we focus on mastering our own thoughts, actions, emotions, the less we are affected by surrounding chaos. So much stress and frustration comes from imagining how things should be or how we wish they were. We create mental stories about how the world should function, and when reality doesn't meet expectations, we suffer. But when we focus on what we can control, our responses, we find peace. We stop wasting energy fighting the world and start using that energy to grow, improve, become our best selves. The world may be chaotic, but we don't have to let it dictate how we feel. When you shift focus from trying to control the world to mastering yourself, you see how much power you really have. Your strength doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from within. It comes from your ability to stay calm amid chaos, stay focused amid distractions, keep moving forward despite setbacks. Life will always present challenges, but when you know your response is within your control, those challenges become opportunities to practice strength, patience, resilience. Mastering yourself doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending everything's fine. It means recognizing emotions are valid, but you don't have to let them control actions. It's about stepping back and choosing the best response, even when the world feels out of control. This is where true power lies, not in controlling everything outside you, but in knowing you have strength to handle whatever comes with wisdom, grace, integrity, The more you practice self-mastery, the more you'll realize the world no longer has power to throw you off course. You'll stop feeling like a circumstance victim and feel empowered to navigate life's challenges with confidence, clarity. Your peace and happiness will no longer depend on what's happening around you, but on how you choose to respond. You'll begin realizing your greatest power is your ability to control your mind, actions, emotions. Everything else, the chaos, unpredictability, will no longer disturb your inner peace. In the end, the world will keep turning, storms will keep coming, but how you handle those storms, how you choose to stay grounded and centered, that defines your strength. When you master yourself, everything else starts falling into place. The world's chaos doesn't have to disrupt your peace. You don't need to change the world to find happiness. You just need to change how you interact with it. In a world constantly changing with external pressures from every direction, we often think peace can only be found by changing the world around us. We believe if we could control circumstances, control how others treat us, control how things unfold, control challenges, we'd finally find peace. But here's the truth: peace doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from mastering yourself. When we talk about inner peace, we're not talking about a calm, easily disrupted by life's storms. We're talking about a deep, unshakable serenity from within. A peace remaining steady even when the world is anything but peaceful. Inner peace is the greatest strength you can cultivate, because when you are at peace within, nothing can truly shake you. Life can throw its worst: heartbreak, failure, stress, loss. But when you've mastered inner peace, you will always stand strong. Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." This speaks to inner peace's essence. It's not something you find in the outside world, not in right circumstances, perfect job, ideal relationship. True peace is a product of looking inward, understanding yourself, becoming so connected to your inner being that nothing outside can disturb your calm. It's when you look inward and realize your peace isn't dependent on surrounding chaos, but on your response to it. That's where your strength lies. Think of your last difficult situation: conflict at work, personal challenge, a moment everything seemed to fall apart. In those moments, it's easy to feel everything's out of control. You may get caught in anger, frustration, fear, wishing you could change external circumstances. But what if, instead of trying to change everything around you, you focused on controlling your response? What if you paused, took a breath, centered yourself? That's when peace starts growing. It's in that space between stimulus and reaction that your power lies. The ability to remain calm amid adversity is a skill to be developed. It doesn't come naturally to most. Our minds are wired to react to stress, fight discomfort, protect from pain. But what if instead of reacting, we chose to respond with calm, with peace? What if in life's challenges we chose to remain grounded, centered, clear-headed? That is inner peace's true power. It allows facing life's storms without being swept away. Inner peace doesn't mean you won't feel anger, sadness, frustration. Those emotions are human. But when you cultivate inner peace, you begin feeling those emotions without being controlled by them. You acknowledge, experience, then let them go. You don't allow them to dictate actions or state of mind. Instead, you choose how to respond. You choose to remain calm no matter what life throws. We often imagine worst-case scenarios, creating unnecessary suffering. We worry about things not yet happened, and we allow our minds to spiral into negativity. But when we practice inner peace, we learn to stop these spirals before they take over. We realize that most of the suffering we experience is self-created. By focusing on the present moment and controlling our responses, we can reduce that suffering and find peace. When we talk about mastering yourself, we're talking about developing the ability to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Self-mastery isn't about being perfect or never feeling upset. It's about recognizing that you have the power to decide how you respond to life's challenges. The more you practice this, the more you realize that nothing can disturb your inner peace unless you allow it. You become less reactive and more proactive, responding to situations with clarity and calm instead of getting caught up in the emotional whirlwind. This is the foundation of inner peace, the ability to respond to life from a place of centered strength. The key to cultivating inner peace is understanding that it's a process. It's not something you can achieve overnight. It's a practice, a daily commitment to showing up for yourself, to being aware of your thoughts and emotions, and to choosing how you react to the world around you. Each time you face a challenge and choose to remain calm, you build that inner strength. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. And over time, you begin to notice that you are less affected by external circumstances. You are less tossed around by life's ups and downs because you've built a solid foundation of inner peace. In a world that's constantly moving, constantly demanding more from us, it's easy to feel like we need to chase after something in order to find peace. We think that if we just achieve this one thing, everything will fall into place. But the truth is, peace is not something you chase. It's something you create within yourself. It's a practice of letting go of the need to control everything and instead focusing on controlling the one thing you can, your response. When you focus on cultivating peace within yourself, the outside world becomes less overwhelming. You stop reacting to every challenge, and you start navigating life with a sense of calm and clarity. The world will always be chaotic. There will always be challenges, frustrations, and disappointments. But your inner peace can remain constant, like an anchor in the storm. When you master yourself, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop letting the world dictate your emotional state. Instead, you become the master of your own mind, your own emotions, and your own responses. And in that mastery, you find true strength. This is the power of inner peace. It allows you to remain grounded and strong, no matter what's happening around you. It's the greatest strength you can cultivate, because it comes from within. When you learn to master yourself, everything else begins falling into place. You stop chasing after external things for validation or happiness. Instead, you find fulfillment in the quiet strength that comes from within. That is the true power of inner peace. Remember, true strength doesn't come from changing the world around you. It comes from mastering the world within you. When you find peace inside yourself, nothing can shake you. Thank you for being part of Stoic Mindset Mastery today. If you're ready to continue this journey towards self-mastery and inner peace, one of the suggested videos on screen is your next step. Let's keep building that strength together. And if this resonated, please support the channel by hitting the like button. It genuinely helps Stoic Mindset Mastery reach others seeking the same freedom.